Wendy Ozburn,
Where were you born?
Long Beach, California.
Long Beach. That's far away. What bring you here?
My mom and dad. Yeah, they're the original pizza factory owners here in our community.
Really? That's amazing. Were you raised there too, or you came here as a child?
I came here in 7th grade.
7th grade. That's amazing. And what schools did you attend, like from your hometown and here?
I went to Bixby Elementary in Long Beach, and then we moved up to Oakers for 6 years, Oakers, California, and I went to Oak Creek Elementary, and then I transferred over here, went to the junior high, and then graduated from this very high school.
All right, let's see. How did your family feel about your decision to join the military?
They thought I was crazy
Really? Why is that?
because I joined 4 months before my 40th birthday, and they thought I was having a midlife crisis.
Really? Sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
How old are you now? Not to be rude.
I'll be 52 in January.
Really? You look like you're 30.
Oh, well, thank you.
Okay. Can you tell us what made you decide to join the military?
So there's things that happen in life that are kind of like last resort. So I had 2 daughters. They're still in school. I was going through a divorce, pretty much selling off anything worth of value just to make ends meet and working full time. And while I was going through all that, I was working for the state of California for about 10 years. And on my 10th year, they decided to do a massive layoff. And sometimes local, city, county, state government, they sometimes do that. So I was laid off, and I had a year of trying to figure out what I was going to do because my daughters are looking at me first and foremost as their number one example. And I didn't have an AA, I didn't have an AS, and I figured my eyes are good. My hearing, my body's pretty nimble. I have a beautiful brain, so I started exploring different branches of the military. I first called out to the Army recruiter, and then I got cold feet for about a year. And then when I called them back again, they said that we're sorry, you're too old. So I called the Air Force, and the Air Force said, we will take you, you just have to be before your 40th birthday. So on September 7th, 2012, I raised my right hand and was sworn into the United States Air Force.
So, what branch did you serve in?
I've always been Air Force.
So, Air Force. And I see those lovely patches that you have. Can you show the camera what they are and then explain to them?
This is our American flag. It looks like it's going backwards, but there's a reason for that. When we go downrange, we're not retreating, so we're going into the fight, and the flag is following us, not the opposite way that you would probably see it. This is the command that I was under, which is the Air Command for the Air Force. This is my rank. I separated from the Air Force as a technical sergeant. U.S. Air Force, Ozburn, my last name.
That's amazing. And lost my train of thought. Sorry. I had a question. I'll get back to it.
Yeah, no worries.
What type of training did you receive? Do you remember your basic training?
Vividly. Basic training for me was as a 40-year-old lady was very shocking, I guess. I've always been a very jovial person, so my smile is always on my face. Okay, so as soon as I got off that bus, that was not acceptable. So my military bearing, I had none. okay? I talked with my hands, I expressed with my face. I was always getting dinged, always getting reamed, dinged, and yelled at to the extent where you can see the cobwebs of spit in somebody's mouth because my military bearing was. I'm a happy person. So to be robotic and structured, I might have been a little bit more malleable if I were younger, but because I was very set in my ways, not just set in my ways, but very appreciative because I've gone through a lot of hard times in my life. Trained as an inspector to make sure our loads were good. If there was anything leaking, if our belly bands weren't tight, if the nets on the cargo weren't tied down straight. Because the thing is, I also was trained to be to do the schematics, digital schematics for the airframe. So whatever airframe came into our yard, we shared the flight line with the Yosemite International Airport. So I would have to make sure, based on weight, fuel efficiency, what's the sweet spot, okay, to make sure that we get enough fuel to go where we're going. I would have to make sure that the weight was distributed regardless of what aircraft I got. So if one side of the plane is, 10,000 pounds and the other side is 20, guess what's going to happen to that plane? It's going to go down, right? Same with people. I have to make sure that when they're weighed on my scale, like, you got 10 extra pounds, get rid of it. So there's just like a lot of scrutiny when it comes to mission support. I was not a pilot. There's only 1% that are pilots in the United States Air Force. Everything else is mission support. It's like a little city supporting the mission.
And can you explain what you mean by scrutiny?
Oh, scrutiny means like very detail oriented down to a hair, like there can't be no mistakes. And I do have some examples, some training examples, how they train you in basic training.
Please.
Yeah, would you like to show us?
Yeah, I would love to. Okay, so when you're a newbie and going through basic training, they do remedial exercises to get you in that mind frame to have attention to detail, which is going to help you in the course of your life because it's important. So we got these socks. These are our uniform socks, and this is how they would look after we do laundry and everything. How much we would love to just do this, just made them and just throw them in our locker room, right? How easy would that be? Save a lot of time, right? But no, they had us fold our socks like this. They had to look just like that. We would take tweezers and make sure that the inside diameter was 1.25 inches to 2 inches. Okay, so they're trying to get you in that frame. As painstaking as this was, they're trying to get you to condition your mind how important detail is. Same with our dress socks. So I have that as far as like attention to detail, and then I have some other things. Whenever you want me to share.
Do you sometimes still fold your socks that way?
I do not.
No?
I do not. And my MTI, when she checked my laundry one day, just to rattle my cage, she's like, "Ozburn, aren't you a mother?" Training Ozburn reports is ordered. Yes, ma'am. Your laundry habits, unacceptable. I'm like, okay. Then she took my bed and ripped it apart, just so I could do it again. But you have to understand that they're on your side. It's just that's their job. They're getting paid to be jerks, lack of a better term.
So you don't fold your socks?
I do not fold my socks like that. Nobody has time to fold their socks like that.
How long did it take you?
Well, we have lots of socks. It's like an hour to fold socks. And our shirts, all the seams and everything has to be done Air Force standards. Or military standards, should I say.
So our next question is, what are your recommendations on being in the Air Force?
some of like the services you did? If you could recollect and who that.
Can you? I could barely hear. Can
Sorry, my voice is on the way. What are your recollections about wartime service?
wartime?
Well, yeah, like while you were in the Air Force, your recollections.
We were never called. We were never activated for war during my stint of service. My last, because I've been out for 3.5 years, and I was on presidential orders. My last, as far as like not being on the 144th and working full time on base, they sent me out because you have to remember during COVID, like a lot of people weren't working. They had no money, so no money equaled no food. So they sent me to a food bank. Which was really interesting because we walked into and the military is known for this. We could set up camp anywhere, and you give us an empty building, we can make it whatever you want it to be. So for this point, we made it a fully active, functionable warehouse for food distribution with semi trucks and everything. We were our own employees. And I actually have, during that time, I have a patch that I got. You're going to probably think this is cute. So it's a mask with the COVID, the little COVID, the cell.
I see it.
Yeah. So we were wearing that on the side during that time. So.
And also, how was it like in the Air Force with COVID around? Or what time did you go into the Air Force?
It was 2012, the year I went in.
And when did you stop? I don't know how to say that.
I separated in 2021.
That was recent.
Yeah.
How was it to adapt to COVID and all these COVID standards? Did you change your routine?
We were essential, like our farm workers. We were essential, so we just wore masks, and the government actually contracted extra cleaners to make sure things were sanitized during that time.
So mostly masks and just more cleaners? Sorry.
Yeah, just
More sanitation.
yeah. Because I was working in logistics at that time, everything that we received from any of our carriers, I know it's going to sound a little interesting, but we had to spray it down with alcohol. Yeah, everything. Yeah.
One question I have is, what were some of the hesitations you had about serving?
My first hesitation, so I only knew one military person closely during growing up as a little girl, and this person was very regimented, unapproachable, and cold, and I resonated that type of behavior with the military, so I didn't want anything to do with it. Not until I got older. So be an example, let's just say, you never know who's watching. That's just like a case in point. So if I'm watching this person and I'm seeing their character, that they're not approachable, and you're representing something so beautiful as the Army, the Air Force, whatever branch that you're in, you want to be approachable. You want people to know that this is something that people should want to do, not wonderful. Yeah, it's something that you should want to do. You should want to serve your country.
I'm sorry, I see one of the items you have.
I have lots of fun stuff over here.
Is that
I
a
want to
shell?
share.
Is that a shell of a, what is that? That little cylinder, sorry.
So, this right here?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so my first AFSC was welding and machining. So, and I want to share how it transcends as you go forward in life. Just like school, once you learn something, you're not just going to shove it in your pocket and call it a day. You keep building on those things, right? So the military, I tell people, the military, even though it's like this, it's such a selfless act, right? Because you, in essence, you are owned by the government. It's such a selfless act, but it's really what it's done for me. It's like it served me tenfold, not just serving my country. So what it's done for me as a person, I mean, I don't even know how to explain it. But so when I was in welding and machining, we were training to make bolts for the engines for our aircraft. So I would make threads. We would make our things as part of our training. So this is the attention to detail. So if you're in machining, I didn't know Pythagorean's theorem. I think in this school I got to maybe algebra B. I mean, let's be honest. Pythagorean's theorem, trigonometry and anything no, that's not my forte. However, so when I got to welding and machining, they go, "Oh, you must be really great in math." I go, "Absolutely not." They're like, "Well, what are you in here for?" Because when you test for your ASVAB, my analytical skills were very, very high. So I was able to get into machining and welding because of the analytical skills. So when you're making a thread, you hear that? That is unacceptable. This thread should be snug and tight. Because if it's not snug and tight, guess what's going to happen to your engines? The turbulence of the plane, this is going to come off, right? It's going to go crashing down on somebody's head, possibly, right? Kill somebody. Your engines are going to fall out. Your plane's going to go down, right? It's just a constant. So that attention to detail is so pertinent. That attention to detail. So when I say attention to detail, I didn't know how to use a vernier caliper. It's a measuring device that measures in hairs. That's about 30 thousandths. That little
30 thousandths
of space. They taught me how to weld my bead. Uncle Sam taught me after this career field, my logistical training has taught me how to leverage my business. So while I was in, because I'm older, gotta remember I went in older, okay, while I was in the Air Force, I was curating a business, building a business, so at the same time.
That's remarkable.
So yeah, so I have a business, and Uncle Sam taught me how to work with metal, right? I already had this is not the prototype. Before I went into the Air Force, I had a prototype for a belt buckle. I didn't bring it today. I should have. Okay? Because the prototypes were Neanderthal, very primitive. Okay? After the Air Force, true to scale product. So the Air Force taught me how to do this. I didn't teach myself how to do this. Every little thing that when you're in product development, you don't have to be in the Air Force to make product. You don't have to be when you're in the Air Force, you're making what the Uncle Sam wants you to make. But when you're out of the Air Force, you can make whatever the hell you want. Because Uncle Sam, they paid you to learn something. So why not leverage it, right? So I made this innovative belt buckle. I work with awesome people. Logistically, I import and I export. I know how to do that because the Air Force taught me how to do that, working in logistics. I work with great companies like Corning, who make me the Gorilla Glass that's on my product. I work like the manufacturers, the people that make the insides of the buckles. They're all these are all interchangeable. I know there's some Bills fans here. You could put a Bills. This is a piece of my uniform I just cut out. I could put that in there. So just saying like what you could leverage. So now to put this out in the market, Air Force is really good with contracts. You will learn how to write, even if you don't know how. You will learn how to do your own appraisal reports. The Air Force will teach you any military branch will teach you how to write. Trust me, they will make you, okay? Even if you're not best in English. And if you have any problems, you always have leadership to help you. So I wrote my very own patent by myself. I did not pay a patent attorney to do this for me.
You wrote the word patent. Is that
No,
right?
this is a government patent. Like, nobody could take my idea in the United States or they get sued. So the military taught me how to leverage my writing skills. The military, now let's just talk about, now I've been separated from the military. What else can I do that I'm separated now? What else can I do with the knowledge that Uncle Sam has given me? Well, I'm really good at contracts, really good at paperwork, I'm really good at grants, really good at law. So let's go to school. Oh, Uncle Sam's going to pay for it. He's still paying for it. I'm in school right now, paying for it. Not only will they pay for you to go to school, they will give you basic housing allowance. Whether you're living at home or in an apartment, they will give you basic housing allowance. They will keep taking care of you, not to mention your health. They will keep taking care of your health. I recently started contracting with the state of California. My very first bid was the California Military Department. They bought 500 embroidered ball caps. I leveraged the platform of my business and made $7,000. The military is not a one and done. Don't think of it like, oh, I got to serve my country and I want to be owned, okay? There's so much more. I mean, I really feel like the character behind everything, because when the first year I was in, I saw a dog on base. I wanted so bad to touch that darn dog, to pet it like a civilian. I couldn't bend down, I couldn't look at the dog, my face had to be focused. It's the little things that we take for granted, like petting a dog. I really feel people should serve our country because you're owned. You're told what to do. You're following regs and different instructions, and you're held accountable. And you got to own it. You're not allowed to say, I don't know. You have to say, I don't have the answer, and I will find that. Give me an hour. It teaches you how to communicate better with people. It teaches you teamwork. It's just all around, I would totally recommend it in a heartbeat. I have no regrets. I'm a better person. I'm a better mother. I'm a better friend because of it. Better grandma. Thank you.
After wrap, we've got vets stacked up.
Yeah.
But we really appreciate it. And did you guys get to do your parting words question?
No.
Okay, let's finish.
With one of the parting words, most importantly, we want to hear your advice to our young people about service and sacrifice.
And what was the question, hon?
Okay, so we just want to hear your advice on us students, children, on about service and the sacrifice you did for the Air Force.
Well, I can only speak for myself. There have been our forefathers, relatives, other service members, not myself, that have really, truly, it's taken a toll on not only their bodies, whether they're jumping out of airplanes or whatever, regardless, whether they're on the front line, bullets whizzing past their heads, mortars exploding. I did not. That was not my experience. There's just a level of gratitude that I think everybody should have when it comes to our service members, all branches.
Sorry. Also, what are some truths that you can tell us? What did your experience teach you about your character?
I think I touched a little bit about that. I shed some light on that. I feel like it's your character is built up through not putting yourself first, being grateful, having a grateful heart. We get to go to bed, every single American. We do have the opportunity. I mean, I can't really say that for different areas of, because there's cities that, children are going to bed hungry, children are going to bed abused, people are going to bed abused, they're living in their own certain type of fear. But what I'm talking about is terrorists, fear of terrorists. We can actually go to bed and pray to whoever we want to pray to. We're not under a dictatorship, and people aren't breaking down our doors, snatching us up in the middle of the night. We could go to bed with that level of peace because our seas are protected, our soil is protected, our sky is protected, and now we have the Space Force. I don't know if we have another branch. I don't know if anybody knew that. And our beyond the skies is protected. So we could rest assured that our boys and girls are doing their job because we get to go to bed with that level of peace that a lot of countries don't get to go to bed.